Dear students, today I am going to present class 7th SPL chapter 4, Growing Up as Boys and Girls. Boys and girls, no doubt, grow in different atmosphere and they are taught different values. Girls are kept in seclusion and they are protected by their parents up till certain age, up till their marriage. Now we see boy or girl how they are grown in a society. Being a boy or girl is an important part of one's identity. The society we grow up in teaches us what kind of behavior is acceptable for girls and boys, what boys and girls can or cannot do. We often grow up thinking that these things are exactly the same everywhere, but do all societies look at boys and girls in the same way? We will try and answer this. This might not be the correct. All societies do not treat both boys and girls alike. In some societies, girls are given more rights, but in another societies, they are given less rights. Let us study and find out the answer for this, how they are treated, whether equally or differently. This is a beautiful world map. Samoa is a small island nation which is located between the Australian continent and South American continent. It is in the southern part of the Pacific Ocean. This is a small island. Here we shall study growing up of boys and girls in Samoa in the 1920s. 1920s means 1921 onwards. 1921 onwards, how the boys and girls growing in Samoan island, that we will discuss. This is a beautiful island nation of Samoa. This is a beach of the Pacific Ocean encircled by green forest and sandy beach. The Samoan Islands are part of a large group of small islands in the southern part of the Pacific Ocean. In the 1920s, according to research reports on Samoan society, children did not go to school. But where they go? They learned many things such as how to take care of children or do household work from elder children and from adults. Fishing was a very important activity on these islands. Young people therefore learned to undertake long fishing expeditions, but they learned these things at different points in their childhood. As soon as babies could walk, their mothers or other adults no longer looked after them. Older children, often as young as 5 years old, took over this responsibility. Both boys and girls looked after their younger siblings. This is the condition in case of the Samoan society, where children do not go to school in 1920s, but today they are all going to school. Today's situation is completely different. We cannot compare today's situation of 1920s. Today all are going to school, but in 1920s they did not go to school. Instead, they take care about the household work and they go for fishing and also look after the young babies. This is a beautiful state of Madhya Pradesh, and where we have a beautiful monument called Sanchi Stupa, which is built by Ashoka. Here also we can take another example of a state where how the boys and girls grow in 1960s, not today. In a small town in Madhya Pradesh, in the 1960s, from class 6 onwards, boys and girls went to separate schools. The girls' schools was designed very differently from the boys' school. They had a central courtyard where they played in total seclusion, a safety from the outside world. The boys' school had no such courtyard, and playground was just a big space attached to the school. Every evening, when school was over, the boys watched as hundreds of schoolgirls crowded the narrow streets of the town. As these girls walked on the streets, they looked so purposeful. This was unlike the boys who used the streets as a place to stand around idling, to play, to try out tricks and that with their bicycles. For the girls, the street was simply a place to get straight to home. The girls always went in groups because to have the safety, perhaps because they also carried fears of being teased or attacked by these boys. That's why they always go in group. They will not go alone. This is the status or condition in a small town of MP in 1960s. These are the two different schools. This is a girls' school which is completely covered with courtyard, and here girls used to play in seclusion, whereas in case of the boys, which is easily accessible, and anyone can enter in this school. There is no courtyard for such schools. This is the condition of, you can say, there is no co-education school, and each and every school is a separate, and for boys and for girls in 1960s in a small town in MP. After studying these two examples, we will try to conclude outcome of these two examples. We will see what is the net result of these two examples. One is Samoa and that is Madhya Pradesh. After reading the two examples of Samoa and MP, we realize that there are many different ways of growing up. Often we think that there is only one way in which children grow up. This is because we are most familiar with our own experiences. If we talk to your elders in your family, you will see that their childhoods were probably very different from yours. We also realize that societies make clear distinction between boys and girls. This begins from a very tender age. We are, for example, given different toys to play with. Boys are usually given cars to play with and girls are given dolls. Both toys can be a lot of fun to play with. Why are girls then given dolls and boys cars? Toys become a way of telling children that they will have different futures when they become men and women. If we think about it, this difference is created in the smallest and most everyday things. So, what kind of toys are given to you in your family? You just recollect and copy down in your book. What are the toys you are given? And if you have sister, what are the toys are given to your sister to play when you were very child or even today? Valuing household work. Harami's family did not think that the work Jaspreet did within the house was real work. This feeling is not unique to their families. Across the world, the main responsibility of housework and caregiving tasks like looking after the family, especially children, the elderly and sick members, lies with women. Yet, as we have seen, the work that women do within the home is not recognized as work. It is also assumed that this is something that comes naturally to women. It therefore does not have to be paid for that, and society devalues this work. There is no value for the work rendered by women in the family. Even if your mother, whatever work she performs in home, whether cleaning or you can say the washing, cooking, all this work go in vain. People do not recognize, people do not value for their work. At the same time, if a female member go and do work outside their home and that is valued and that is paid for, that becomes an economic activity. Whereas if the mother does the work within the home, that becomes non-economic activity, no value for that important work rendered by the women. Lives of domestic worker. Domestic worker, as you all know, housemaid, employed in a house to work, to look after cleaning, scavenging, and then washing, and then cooking, and sometime taking care of the baby and younger, older one people. All this, so we will find out the lives or the lives of the domestic workers. Lives of domestic workers. Besides mother, domestic work is also attended by domestic servants in most of the families. Many homes, particularly in towns and cities, employ domestic workers to perform all the tasks such as cleaning, washing, cooking, and then taking care of the babies and elderly people. They do a lot of work, sweeping and cleaning, washing clothes and dishes, cooking, looking after young siblings or the elderly people. Most domestic workers are women and men are generally not to be employed in the home as a domestic servant. Sometimes even young boys or girls are employed to do this work, but only very rare cases we see that boys or girls, but one should not employ the boys or girls below 14 years because that is a punishable offense. Once you appoint, then you will be prosecuted by law. Wages are very low for domestic workers as domestic work does not have much value. A domestic worker's day can begin as early as 5 in the morning and end as late as 12 at night. Melanie, a domestic worker, had to say about this that her experience of working in Delhi in apartment in house, there were two other girls who did the cleaning work where works. Melanie is basically a cook. Our day would begin at 5 o'clock and for breakfast we would get a cup of tea. She is telling that she will get a cup of tea and two dry rotis. There is no oil chapatis, only sukha, pulka they will get. We could never get a third roti. The third roti cannot be given to them. This is the condition of the domestic worker wherever they are working, whether it is in Delhi, or Bombay, Hyderabad, or you can say the Bangalore, whatever it may be. She is Melanie with her daughter, and she worked in a house in Delhi as a cook, and she has narrated the experiences what she has faced in that house. This is how we have to find out the women equality. Women is not equal in many things in many families, but they are enjoying good status, greater autonomy in many societies that we cannot see. Say, for example, in the countries of Scandinavia, like Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Holland, Finland, they are enjoying greater status compared to Africa and then Asia and other countries. And here we will see women's work and equality. The low value attached to women's household and caregiving work is not an individual or family matter. It is part of a larger system of inequality between men and women. Equality is an important principle of our constitution. Our constitution has given three important values: equality and freedom, fraternity. These three values we have borrowed from the French people after French Revolution in 1789, and these have been achieved by the people of France. The same thing has been also borrowed by almost all societies, including India. The constitution says that being a male or female should not become a reason for discrimination. In reality, inequality between the sexes exists even today. That's why what happened, women is deteriorated in all fields. They have not yet reached good hopes in many avenues. That's why what happened, we can find in reality inequality between the male and female still exists. The government is therefore committed to understand the reasons for this and taking all steps to remedy the situation that it should not arise. For example, it recognizes that burden of child care and housework falls completely on women and girls. The government has set up Anganwadis or child care centers in several villages in the country in order to protect them. The government has passed laws that make it mandatory for organizations that have more than 30 women employees to provide creche facilities. The provisions of creches helps many women to take up employment outside the home. It also makes it possible for more girls to attend schools. So this is what the government has done in order to empower the women in our country. This is an Anganwadi transformation project and taken up by a charitable organizations, that is Vijaya Vahini Charitable Foundation. And see how here the Anganwadi pursue the work, and here the small babies are taken care by Anganwadi mother and then servants and then the teacher. All these things, this is an example in Andhra Pradesh, and this is, or you can say, the child care centers where the women are going to the work and their children are taken care by an employee so that they can perform the task very well. Thank you very much for patiently hearing.